I never expected to feel this way about my sister's husband. But one night, everything changed. What started as a simple favor, watching her children while she was away, turned into something intense, something I couldn't ignore. I knew it was wrong, but I couldn't stop myself. Every glance, every word, every quiet moment felt charged with tension. And the more I tried to deny it, the stronger it became. Before I tell you what happened next, take a moment to like this video and subscribe. Trust me, this is a story you won't forget. My name is Daniela, and I've been married for a few years. My husband, he loves me, or at least I thought he did. Lately though, things between us had become tense. Little arguments, misunderstandings, they built up over time until I felt a distance I couldn't ignore. One afternoon my sister called. She sounded exhausted, her voice a little desperate. She told me she needed a break from her kids and begged me to come over to her house for a few days, just to help out and spend time together. At first, I hesitated. I was married, I had responsibilities at home, but with the growing strain between my husband and me, I thought, maybe a short visit wouldn't hurt, a small escape. When I arrived, her house felt warm and alive. Her children ran around laughing, filling the rooms with energy and noise. For the first time in days, I felt a sense of calm, relief, happiness even, and I told myself, it was just a favor, just helping my sister, nothing more. But then she told me she had to travel urgently for work to another city. She begged me to stay a few extra days to take care of her children while she was away. I agreed. Again, I told myself it was harmless, just a favor. But in that moment, I had no idea how much my life was about to change. From the very first night, subtle things began to shift. David, my sister's husband, was polite, kind, attentive, and somehow every glance, every small gesture started to feel heavier, charged, electric, and I couldn't stop noticing. Little did I know, that simple decision to help my sister would pull me into a situation I never imagined, one that would challenge everything I thought I knew about love, loyalty, and desire. The first few days at my sister's house were ordinary, at least on the surface. I cooked, helped with the kids, tidied up the house. Everything seemed normal, but beneath the surface, I could feel the tension building. David, my sister's husband, was always polite, always helpful. He made sure the children were fed, asked if I needed anything, and sometimes our eyes would meet just a little longer than they should. I told myself it was imagination, just harmless moments, nothing more. But the more I noticed him, the more I couldn't ignore it. Every smile lingered, every laugh shared between us carried an energy I hadn't expected. And then came the quiet moments after the kids were asleep. We'd sit in the living room talking about ordinary things, work, family, small everyday stories, but the air felt charged. I could feel my heart racing, my mind whispering warnings I didn't want to hear. This is wrong. You're married. This shouldn't happen. Yet another part of me, the part I didn't know existed, felt a pull I couldn't resist, dangerous, forbidden, and intoxicating. Sometimes I caught myself replaying moments in my head, a brush of his hand when passing a dish, a look of understanding when I spoke. Every innocent gesture started to feel like something more. I tried to rationalize it. It's just a long day. You're tired, you're lonely. But the tension between us was growing. I could feel it in the small touches, in the way our conversations lingered a little too long. And that's when I realized I was no longer just helping my sister. I was stepping into a world I shouldn't be in. A world where lines blurred, desires conflicted, and the simple act of staying a few extra days would lead me down a path I couldn't foresee. I didn't know it yet, but the real danger, the intensity, the longing, the moral conflict, was just beginning. And by the end of this stay, nothing would be the same. Then came the night that would change everything. My sister had traveled for work, and the children were finally asleep. I poured a small drink for myself, thinking about how quiet the house had become. And then David entered the living room. We started talking, casually at first, about work, about life, about the children. But there was something unspoken beneath the words. Every glance, every smile, every pause carried a weight neither of us acknowledged out loud. I told myself to focus on the children, on responsibility, on the fact that I was married. But the pull between us, it was impossible to ignore. There was tension in the air, subtle, electric, unavoidable. My heart raced. My thoughts spiraled. We laughed at small things, shared memories of our families. But somewhere in the middle of that night, the conversation slowed. Words hung in the air. Silence stretched just long enough for our emotions to feel undeniable. I could feel the intensity building. I wanted to stop. I knew it was wrong. But at the same time, I wanted more. A simple touch, a look, a shared laugh. Each one felt heavier, charged with longing I shouldn't feel. Every warning in my mind clashed with the desire in my chest. Guilt fought curiosity. Loyalty fought temptation. And yet, temptation was winning. I couldn't stop thinking about him, about what it would mean to cross a line that should never be crossed. By the end of that evening, everything had shifted. A quiet intensity had taken hold of us, one I couldn't explain, one I couldn't control. I left the room feeling both exhilarated and terrified. I was drawn to him in ways I couldn't deny, and I knew deep down that the next days would be impossible to navigate without consequences. The line between right and wrong, between loyalty and desire, had begun to blur, and I couldn't turn back. That night, everything felt different. The house was quiet, the children asleep, the world outside forgotten. David and I were in the parlor, sharing another drink, talking softly. But beneath the words, beneath the laughter, was an undeniable tension, electric and consuming. I tried to stop it. I told myself, "You are married. This is wrong. Step back." But the moment had a gravity I couldn't resist, a magnetic pull I couldn't fight. Every glance, every subtle touch, every pause in conversation, it carried more meaning than either of us would admit. The air between us was thick with emotions we weren't ready to name. Desire, guilt, curiosity. They all collided in a way that left me breathless, trembling, and terrified. And then, it happened. Not in words, not in actions fully revealed, but in a moment of undeniable intensity. A connection we could not deny. I felt a rush of emotions, exhilaration, fear, longing, and guilt all at once. My mind screamed at me to stop, yet every fiber of me wanted to sink deeper into it, to feel it again and again. I left that night feeling different, changed. Something had awakened inside me. Something I hadn't expected, something I still couldn't forget. The intensity lingered, a dangerous craving I didn't know how to control. Even now, I think about that night. The forbidden tension, the electric moments, the way a simple evening became unforgettable. I wanted more, yet I feared the consequences. The line between right and wrong had disappeared, leaving only desire, longing, and the impossible choice I now faced.